unfortunately, it will feel not quite as mild tomorrow yet. Wednesday is when we'll feel really what we should be, which is the upper 50s, low 60s. But we'll have less wind tomorrow, still on the northwest, more sun in the afternoon. So that'll be the one positive going in the afternoon, and it will be dry. As I mentioned, more mild with more sun as we go on Wednesday especially, and then the storms by Thursday afternoon, and that could extend into Thursday evening and Friday night too, so it's going to be a wet period right there. But tomorrow's highs and next day we're looking at still below average, about 3 to 4 degrees below average with that northwest wind. Once again, the more sun in the afternoon, that'll be the positive going in. The winds will be more 15 to 20 instead of that stronger. Now we had gusts over 40, near 50 at some areas. Now tomorrow, we're looking at gusts in the mornings, potentially still in that 35 to 40. But for most of the day, it's probably going to be right around 30 to 35. And this really will be the strongest in your typical higher elevations, northeast Iowa, southeast Minnesota. They won't begin to decrease really until we get towards the evening commute, at least gust-wise. By the time we get to 6 or 7 p.m., we're looking at more of the gusts getting below 20. And then they'll be even lighter going into Tuesday night. So we still got about another 24 hours of dealing with some of that wind, and then it should be gone here. But as we go into Wednesday, going into Thursday, temperatures will get a little bit cooler there. Lighter winds, clearing skies, so back in the upper 20s near 30, which is a little bit below average. But Wednesday, a lot more sun out there. I think a lot of areas will get back into the 60s. The winds will be light, but they'll be out of the south-southeast. More sun in the morning, a little bit more cloud cover in the afternoon, but all in all, not a bad Wednesday, really. And then Thursday, more interesting is how the weather is going to complicate things, especially when it comes to temperatures right now. We say in mid to upper 60s, but if we get a little bit more sun, I think some areas could get to 70, but that all depends on how fast the system gets here. And right now, I do expect to see some showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. By the time you wake up Thursday, we got a little bit of activity to the south, but then as the system gets closer, we're going to start seeing development right along a boundary that'll come through sometime in the afternoon. So showers, thunderstorms right there will lift north through the area. And then once we get to the evening, it's really going to expand in coverage and then really become a wet period probably through at least midnight, but it will then depart here as we go into Friday morning. Friday, as the system kind of sits to the south, we might see more additional rain develop, showers, even a few thunderstorms. Could be further south. I think the further north you go Friday, the drier, but that wet weather will continue and cooler conditions on Friday. So we'll have to keep that in mind too. Severe threat for Thursday right now is appearing to the south of us, but we'll have to keep an eye. Hail would be the main threat to look for, and that would be late Thursday afternoon to Thursday evening. Friday, the severe threats pushes to the southeast along with that boundary, but we still could get wet weather continuing through Friday before we begin to dry out. So we got to keep an eye on that, both things. We will get a good soaking rain out of this, potentially a little bit more than a ½ inch, and if you get a thunderstorm, maybe more. So that's what we got to look for. So the good news is Wednesday's looking fantastic, but then Thursday we'll have to keep an eye on evening into Friday as it dries out in the weekend. Easter Sunday for the most part right now looks dry, but it looks like another system comes in quickly Sunday night, so we might have wet weather continue into Monday. So it's back and forth a little bit, but this is what you'd expect in April right now.
Nothing too taxing for tomorrow though, right?
Yeah, just a little bit of wind. You'll feel that wind still, but not quite as bad as today.
Okay.
But I like what you're going there.
That's right.